Hello, everyone.
Got it.
Uh, there we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the next episode of Doctor Who and Autism Celebrations, a series to celebrate both Doctor Who and autism as we approach the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who, which is very exciting. And today, in today's episode, I'm joined with Devin. We know each other purely, I think, on TikTok. Doing different Doctor Who related videos. But today, we get to speak to each other, learn a bit more about each other, and just speak about something that we like. So Devin, I feel like I've introduced yourself for you. I do it every time. But if you mind saying anything else, something about yourself that maybe no one knows.
Yeah. Hi, Tenny Doctor 1104 here. Devin's my actual name, but hi. I'm from I'm from California, and it, I'm just I'm older than some of the '90s franchises, like about a year. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. To be quite frankly honest.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Because yeah, it's good to be fun, talk about Doctor Who. Yeah. So um, maybe before we speak about Doctor Who, maybe just say a little bit about maybe like your autism, maybe when you was diagnosed, because I know we briefly spoke about that before.
I was diagnosed in high school. I had no idea I had this sort of thing because I was dealing with all sorts of stuff like, you know, trying to get, finals done, make friends, the typical teenage stuff of like trying to figure yourself out and things like that. And then and then I was diagnosed, and then I saw the paper that had my diagnosis written on it, and it was kind of a new thing to like really like figure out like, okay, I've got all this, I got that. And I thought this was going to be a thing that was going to put a damper on me graduating high school, but no, uh, me and my mum, we fought through it, and yeah, here I am now. I didn't fail high school. I've pressed on through it despite the challenges autism may have had, but that's just I've generally managed to succeed in my life.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to hear because it is very hard, especially getting diagnosed and making friends. I think it's hard to make friends in general, really. But yeah, especially in school, because like especially if you don't know what autism is before you've got it as well. Because there's so much upon it, isn't there, that people may not know, it's almost like a life lesson you could have with autism. I think. So so when did you stumble across Doctor Who, Devin?
Same time around, I got diagnosed. I stumbled across the scene of like Nine and Jack arguing about their sonic devices, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And then I stumbled upon a few animations on YouTube using particular types of Doctor Who audio, and I was just like, okay, I could get into this. And then I watched like a few of the series one New Who episodes, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be in for the long haul, aren't I?
Mhm.
And here I am, and it's gonna be 60 years this year. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's been 60 years. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Um, that it's 60 years that it's been around, and we got lots to look forward to, like for like the 60th anniversary later this year. It's very exciting. With all this, with like David Tennant being back as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I probably already know the answer what it's going to be, but do you have a favorite Doctor?
Let me get his. Let me hold on. Well, who else?
Is it Matt Smith?
No, this is series
David Tennant.
four. David.
Yeah.
Well, and I think David, honestly, I do love them. I do love every single one of them. And I think for me, when it comes to like for David's Doctor in particular, there were certain sides of him that I could attest myself to seeing that I particularly enjoy, like the more zany, wacky, happy-go-lucky stuff, but also his more softer kind of side. His more it's all in the eyes, just the way he behaves, his mannerisms. Whereas with someone like Eccleston, he really uses his facial structure to like really show how witty or how furious he can be.
Mm.
Whereas like all of the different doctors have like something I could particularly identify with, and it's one of the sweetest things to like really know like with each doctor that comes along, you find yourself seeing yourself in these characters in so many different ways, and it's like, yeah, I know what you're going through. I've been through that, or it's like, yeah, we've all made those kinds of mistakes, but we pull through it. And I think that's one of the particular things that I love about each particular incarnation. As I get older, I'm like, because I back then in high school, I could not understand what these guys were going, what this guy had gone through over his different faces, and now I do, and I'm like, oh, that's why you're this way.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You kind of relate to certain things that happens within the Doctors, even companions as well. Yeah, like it's hard. It can be hard to pick a Doctor because they change so often. Like maybe every 5 or 6 years you'll see a new Doctor, and you're like that one, and then it kind of levels up to them. Like if you like one more, then another one. Um, because it like with David Tennant being two incarnations, it's gonna be interesting, isn't it, to see like what the 14th Doctor is gonna be compared to what the 10th Doctor was.
Yeah, that's gonna be very, very interesting considering how he is and how he's going to like act like, even though a lot of the personality profiles on the figure boxes may say that he's very similar to his 10th incarnation, but we haven't really seen anything until he actually is on screen.
Yeah, yeah, we know he says add-on Z, but he's gonna say add-on Z, um, but yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to what he's gonna do, and how Donna will remember again. That's gonna be interesting, isn't it? Like, uh,
That's the part of it that's going to scare me. I'm like, oh God, when she starts remembering, oh God, here we go.
yeah, um, it's gonna be like I don't want there to be a sad ending for Donna, um,
Well,
but
now that she has a kid now, yeah.
yeah, yeah, but part of me feels like she may not get that happy ending, that she wants. Um, I'd love her to. I wanted it to happen in the first place. Um, because the Doctor, about the memory loss in the first place, like the Doctor always finds ways to stop this from happening. Um, and he could even done it to Donna, but it was very sad. That even was more sadder than maybe some companions that left, that maybe died. It felt that way, didn't it?
No, it did.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was always a tough time knowing that these people move in and out of it, and some of them do come back for a different incarnation, and it's rather interesting.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it is very interesting because you have even now having companions that have been in like old Doctor Who. I think it's great. Um, especially maybe for people who haven't even maybe seen them before. Um, like Tegan, like in the last episode we have quite a lot of old people from quite long ago, shall we
Yeah, we
say?
had Ian, Tegan, Ace come on through. We had
Yeah,
three come on back.
yeah. I can't believe Ian was in it. Like, it was really good. Um, that he made an appearance after a long
Yeah,
time.
he caught me completely off guard.
Yeah, I think he only said one line, didn't he? I think right at the end.
I believe so. Like, oh yeah, yeah, Joe. I think like, hold on, I had to look back at the episode who came back because all I could remember off the top of my head was like
Yeah.
Tegan, Ace, and Ian.
Yeah, Tegan, Aiton, Ian, Joe made a slight appearance. I think Bonnie Lamford made a slight appearance as well,
Oh
really
yeah, I've been
briefly. It was quite big, like the amount of people there.
yeah, and it's like I'm like, how are they gonna do this? Like, because this episode had like so many people come back on through. Like they had Sylvester McCoy, they had Peter Davison, David Bradley, Paul McGann, and Colin Baker all come back. I'm like, well, we already have like a multi-doctor story kind of. How are they going to do this? How are they going to top this for the 60th? How are they going to do that?
Yeah, yeah. I think like the 60th is gonna be like I think it will top the 50th. 50th was really good. I mean, it was really good. But I say this because it's longer. They have more time to do more things, more surprises. Um, like a lot of us knew 50th that David Tennant was gonna come back for it. Um, I think Russell Eccleston was originally, but he didn't want to, so John Hurt as the War Doctor came in, which was really good.
Yeah.
I, but for the 60th, I think they like all those doctors, like the five doctors, will I think they try and get as many doctors in as they can to at least make a cameo. They'll be in it in some capacity, as many of the doctors as are available.
Yeah, because that's the funny thing. Because usually anniversaries are multi-doctor stories, and considering we had the Power of the Doctor, I'm like, how are they going? We've already got this one. How are they going to do this? I mean, if it's just because it's like it's David, and it's like that's going to be all three episodes are with him, and then because Shooty's going to come in at the end because we know that much. But it's like,
Mm.
how are they going to get other doctors to going to be a part of this? How are they going to fit everyone in?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because um, I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah, like you say, how they going to fit everything in to get a line when it's supposed to be evolved around Doctor and Donna. Um, but I think the regeneration, I think it's going to be very quick this time around. You know, similar to when the Ninth Doctor regenerated into the 10th Doctor. It's like you had a little
As
bit
long
of
as it's not like a sneeze, what they did with Matt
no,
Smith and Peter Capaldi, that threw me off.
yeah, I didn't
It
like
was just
that.
like a
Yeah.
sneeze and that. I'm like, okay, whiplash.
Yeah, but like I think that's I think they've done that purely because Matt Smith he got young again when he did that right outside the Tardis beforehand against the Daleks. I think that's why they've done that, but they could have made it a little bit longer. Um,
Really settling the fact that he was gonna change into this guy. And one of the things I felt a little shortchanged on was the fact that I think one of the biggest things about that is that they solved like where the 12th Doctor came in and explained like how he got to his cameo in the day of the Doctor. It's like, oh, he's from his first episode, but he went back to go save Gallifrey already. And it didn't make any sense with me because he didn't know who he was. He didn't know what this face was and where he got it from. I thought it would have honestly made better sense if like he now knows what he's got to do, what's it for. Then it's like he goes back to that day and helps save Gallifrey. It would have made much more better sense, much better of a payoff than just him like, oh, they got it, he got it out of the way in the first episode when it's like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Like, even for the 50th anniversary, I think they could have even had Peter Capaldi in it. Like, because they showed his face, like, with at some point in it, but they could have, like, he could have had a memory in there or something like that. Because, like, Shooty Gat was going to be in the 60th somehow. Not for long, but he will be in it to some extent. Um,
Yeah,
but
because we saw that scene of him, like he's wearing the 14th Doctor's like shirt and everything. He's like, someone tell me what the hell is going on here, and I'm like, so I'm guessing you're gonna, from what I know, because because David's gonna regenerate. He's gonna remove his tie, his coat, and vest, and everything, and he's gonna turn into Shooty. He's gonna be like, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, "There is more to this, isn't there?"
yeah, I can tell you what I think. What will happen here? I think that ain't gonna be the regeneration. I don't think they'll do that. I don't think they would tease the lines what would happen after a regeneration cycle. I think that happens. I think they will switch. So the 14th Doctor will have problems during the episode with his regeneration, like he isn't taking it too well, and he regenerates slightly. They keep swapping back and forward, so they keep regenerating again and again and again. That's one theory, or it's just a work of like Neil Harris's character, and the events, all that's going on. So they keep switching. I think
Well, that's the that would be like a huge waste of regeneration energy if they're
it
just
would.
switching back and forth like that. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
weird thing, isn't it?
Or or they've departed. So like the shooty is like somehow like gone out of the Doctor's original Doctor's body. So David, so they're standing next to each other. I reckon they have a scene together, maybe, where they're speaking
Yeah,
to
because
one another.
oh yeah, because I saw the scene of it where it looks like Donna's in the middle, David's to her left, Shooty is on her right, and they're looking at each other. I'm like, this has to be Photoshopped. Someone Photoshopped this.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely Photoshop, but I still think
Yeah,
that
and I'm like, there's no way it's like how they're gonna be able to pull this whole thing off.
yeah, I think I do think
Like, back like the big finish stuff like in between and all that, but I'm like, how is this going to be emotionally impactful? How is this going to feel like we see him and how long it's given how long this emotionally impactful, and then when we actually get to say goodbye to him again, it's got to have something to like really like not hit you in the as a gut punch, but be like, well, now you've got some closure. We'll
yeah.
probably see you some other time.
Yeah, I think this is the goodbye because it even says in the trailer, doesn't it? Like Don's why does his face come back? And it says to she says to say goodbye. So I think this is the goodbye, but it won't be the last time ever we see David in Doctor Who. But I think it will be the last time for a while we see him because he appears in the 50th, appears in the 60th. Um, he's been in a lot of Doctor Who episodes himself, and he loves it. He loves doing it, and he loves Doctor Who to bits. But I just the warming line to me would be like saying I'm ready to go. He's not that selfish person he was as the 10th Doctor. He's more caring. Like I mean this in the way of like treating people like a bit better, and because like with the Time Lord Victorious stuff, he was very arrogant towards that towards the end of his life as the 10th Doctor. So maybe the 14th Doctor's a bit more passionate. Maybe 14th Doctor.
Yeah, yeah, that was kind of the thing in it. It's like, how is he going to make no? mean, not only is he acknowledging about this face, but how is he going to acknowledge the fact that he's been all these different people, especially because like 12's doctor was all about atoning for that arrogance, for all that pain that he caused everybody. How do you rectify that? Because I don't want it to be like, oh, he goes back into like his no second chances mercy. I don't want to see him like, taking everybody out left and right just because they don't deserve it. I want it to feel like they have to pay off like the fact that 12 learned to let go of that anger and learned to forgive and learned to be like, yeah, I'm going to fight the monsters. I'm not going to outright destroy you. I'm going to beat you until you start running away.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Like
so.
they have to acknowledge that because 11 and 12 spent all that time like atoning for the mistakes, not only as the War Doctor but as the 10th Doctor as well. They atoned for that and they were trying to make up for that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it was they need to really acknowledge the atonement that the 12th incarnation had,
yeah,
like all that time.
yeah, because
Otherwise, it's going to feel like he spent all that time in that confession dial for nothing. If he goes back into that psycho mode.
yeah, yeah. I I think yeah. The first thing I didn't get, well, like we don't get anything at the moment for the 60th because we don't know anything really. I mean maybe a couple companions. The thing that really got me was that right the first thing the doctor said in the first trailer saying I don't know who I am anymore. Um, because he says I don't know who I am, and that just shook me because like that really shook me when he said that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he kind of said something similar, and he said something kind of similar when in the episode where in Christmas Invasion where he's talking with Harriet Jones and the Sycorax interrupts him and he just screams, "I don't know." And I thought that was a callback to that episode, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice callback to the first time he was on screen.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know. I think you would have realised this, but in the trailer, I think like when the 14th Doctor says if she ever remembers me, she will die. Well, she said this. He said the same thing as the 10th Doctor, Wilfred, in the cafe at the end of time. Um,
Yeah.
so that's a reference back to that. Um, but I reckon at that point, I predicted that the Doctor was speaking to the doctor to Donna's presumed daughter Rose. Um, I presume that's who he's speaking to.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's so many references like with the teeth. Um, what just saying those kind of lines that reference back to the 10th Doctor.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just so good. It's almost like just being back in that era again, like the vortex, and everything like that. It's just bringing back all those years.
A lot of people were like, when Jodie's clothes changed into 14s, and someone reminded us all the way back in old school Who, actually, yeah, in old school Who, the first Doctor's outfit changed into the second Doctor's outfit for that regeneration. So there's precedent there. That's
Yeah,
not a continuity error. There's just precedent from like classic Who.
yeah,
Only
I
once
remember.
has he done that.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. There was lots of like load of people was so annoyed about that because they were saying what it's because it's a girl transitioning into a man. And I said it doesn't matter about that. Like because like you say, the first to the second relates into the 60th anniversary. So that's probably the same kind of pattern here. Um, it's not because of like gender, because like the master was wearing the doctor's clothes in the last episode, so it hasn't got anything to do with that. But it's very interesting. Choice. Well, why those clothes though? Well, why did he get regenerated into those clothes? Very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. I do like the 14th Doctor's outfit though. I think it's quite good.
Yeah, with a tartan waistcoat and trousers.
Yeah.
Uh, and he's got the Converse back. Yeah, I do love that.
Yeah, he's got the grey Converse this time. Before he had his white Converse.
And what's funny about it is I look back on the trailer because I was editing like in a song into the trailer like to make it feel like a very 2000s pop rock kind of a thing.
Yeah.
When he's looking at whoever he's talking to when he goes, if she ever remembers me she will die, and it's like you're slightly ginger, isn't it? I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
well, there's the payoff.
he was slightly ginger. Yeah, in that scene he was. Yeah. We've been waiting all this time, and he wanted to be ginger, and he's got his wish.
Yeah, now that the 13th Doctor's sonic screwdriver 13 sonic screwdriver got broken in the comics, and now I've completely fallen in love with with the concept art of what they were doing for a 14 sonic. So this is the closest approximation we're going to get to that sonic screwdriver
Yeah.
until the toy comes out.
Yeah.
I've been
Uh,
following the comments of like what goes on in his first adventure, so I've been keeping up with that. I'm
yeah.
still waiting on the next one to like figure out where he's gonna go next after Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, I saw that one, yeah. Like he got trapped by the Daleks and everything. Um, yeah, it was kind of crazy how he got to Wembley Stadium. Um, I think I'm very looking forward to the new Sonic Screwdriver. Um, I think it will probably be similar to it will be similar to they might even make it like a bit similar to like as many Sonic Screwdrivers as they can into one. Because like you say, like from like the leaks photos, the like 12th Doctor looks very similar to the 12th Doctor Sonic.
Yep. Yeah, it looks very similar to this one a little bit.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
one, yeah.
it's got like the gray it's got like a gray body section of like kind of like nine and tens, but the emitter is very similar to
Yeah.
this one. It's got like that, and it's also got like that bell like cradle, and it of course it lights up blue and everything else,
Yeah.
and it looks like it could be just as long as this one.
It's gonna be interesting how it comes across the new Sonic as well. Um,
Well, the TARDIS just builds him a new one every time, doesn't it?
sometimes, or sometimes they create it on their own. I think that was the first time when Jodie did that really fast.
And
Um,
Jodie made that out of Sheffield steel.
yeah, yeah, she did. I loved like the when they did the 12th Doctor one, just pinged out the TARDIS like that. I like that one. Um, but there are so many good Sonic screwdrivers. They are all really good, I think. Um, is your favorite? What do you have a favorite Sonic, or do you just like them all?
I do love them. Nine and tens, it's like it's slim, it's nice, but the favorite, I'm holding it.
You that one? Yeah. It's good. It like
Plus,
changes colors.
the reason why I love this one, it's not only is it like it's the right size for my hand to like hold in comparison to like the nine and ten one, which feels a little wobbly. It's also good for doing that,
Yeah.
spinning in and catching it. I have been practicing with this one because this one actually has a very decent, good weight to it.
Yeah. That is very similar. Like like if I do, I might actually take that one now. Now you mentioned it because thinking about it, it's really similar to the one in the comics and everything. Um, so I'll
Yeah,
probably use it in that as my 40th Doctor Sonic. For the time being until the
yeah.
new one is
Until
announced.
yeah, that's kind of funny. Because before I had because while Jodie's run was going, I had like my own 14th Doctor going around, and I ironically was using David Tennant, and this was like years and years before Power of the Doctor ever dropped. And then come to Power of the Doctor, and we found out what number he was, and I'm like, did I freaking predict this? Seriously?
Hmm.
Because my doctor was using David Tennant audio, and then David comes back as number 14, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is the biggest irony ever.
Yeah, like yeah, I'm very excited. Like I love when when they announce a new sonic screwdriver for every Doctor. I love it. I just love collecting them. It's kind of I guess it's an autism kind of thing where you just like collecting stuff. Um, like the different Sonics. But I wonder, Devin, if like Shooty Gatwa will they'll keep the Sonic of the 14th Doctor, um, because it will be
Or
fairly
give him a
new.
completely new one.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I've never been noting for that sort of thing. That's going to be quite interesting to like see as to how Shooty's going to come about because his colors now are the sort of like the brown plaid and the orange, and I love like how that color scheme seems to like be following him in for certain outfits. It's been a while since we have a doctor that can like change into multiple different outfits.
Yeah, we
The only
haven't
reason
had
why they
that.
didn't, the only reason why I think the only reason why they didn't do that for 12 and 12, 10, and 9, it's because of, budget constraints. They couldn't really like get them to like wear different outfits each time.
Yeah, yeah, because
11's is the more one where he has subtle changes to each version of his outfit for depending on the episode.
yeah, yeah, because like 9 just had the leather jacket, 10 had like he had the blue one and his brown one, but on
And
occasional
he had
specials he had like the change of costume. Maybe like the Voyage of the Damned, he had his black like suit there. Um, he had a few, but not as many as Shooty. Shooty has like just like a new suit per episode. Um,
yeah,
Elixir.
yeah, 10 had the tux, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he had that. He wore that. What did he wear in? Yeah, he literally wore the same, and then I think he wore one with the tux. Um, but he actually, I found this out the other day because I keep getting like on my feed on TikTok, I keep getting Doctor Who confidential clips, old ones. Um, and what I saw was David Tennant doing, when he's running through all that fire in the Voyage of the Damned. Um, they would normally
Yeah.
get a stuntman to do it, but he actually done it himself. And they told him, do you want us to get a stuntman? And he said, no, I'm going to do it. And then he said to Doctor Who Confidential, I don't always do this, because he had to run really fast onto like the mat, like you would do in PE at school. And then he got there just in time, otherwise he gets burnt. Um, but that was really interesting. Um, I think they're going to bring
Yeah.
something like that
What's
back as
funny
well.
is that, yeah, what's funny about that, this up for a convention later.
Yeah.
The ser- in series 2, because I noticed this, because I noticed this in photos. In series 2, this interior was brown. In series 3 and 4, it's blue, and I'm like, why did they decide to change the color? What in the?
Yeah,
It's weird.
it's nice when it has blue on the inside and like brown on the outside of the trench coat.
Well, yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I think mine's exactly like that as well.
It's even got like that split in the middle from for yeah.
Yeah, that is good. Um, but
Good.
yeah,
It's comfortable.
yeah, it's good. It's comfortable. Like David's like because I got the 40th Doctor, so David is his coat there is so long. It's so big. Like I could fit like maybe 3 or 4 sonic screwdrivers in the pocket of it. It's that
Oh yeah, you can.
yeah, it's that big. Um, but yeah, it's awesome. Um, like the coat. It's a bit long. Um, but yeah, that's what they've made it like. But I do think in the specials that he won't just be wearing that the whole time. He's gonna change it over a little bit. Um, like
Yeah, yeah, because in the specials he's got more of these short. He's got more of he's got a shorter coat, and it's interesting because it's like I kind of noticed that his tartan outfit, it's got the brown from the brown suit, but it's got the stripes of the blue one, and the waistcoat is as dark. No, and the overcoat is as dark as his blue outfit. So it's like a composite of like two different outfits.
yeah, it is. It is definitely. Um, but it's very exciting. Like it's nice when we have a new Doctor to cosplay or something like that. Um, like
Oh yeah.
like I I and it's good when you get these suits, but like with Shooty, it looks like most of us will have to pick one maybe to start off with and then get more as it goes on because he has lots to choose from. Maybe pick your favourite.
I think yeah, because I know Ryan did the 15th Doctor a little bit, did she's Doctor Doctor a bit, and she had like the jumper,
Mm.
the plaid and the plaid up from the first time. It's like, oh god, the amount of money people are gonna be spending just to like get everything.
Yeah, but imagine how much you pay on the actual costume to cosplay, and then the amount you pay to go and see maybe someone from Doctor Who at a Comic Con. Like how much you spend so much money just buying the costume in the first place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like some guests are more expensive than others, and then some aren't. Like it's crazy. Like some that have been going on longer, you would think they would be more expensive than the new ones because of how long they've been doing it. But it's not. It's like the other way around. Um,
Yeah, this one was like 89. This was like 80 bucks, which was surprising. I thought this would be like upwards because of how popular David Tennant was. That would be like in 1,000. No, it was actually affordable.
yeah, yeah. It's good to have. It is good to have. Like a couple years ago. Like last year even, I was doing some filming on the beach. I was doing some Planet of the Dead scenes on the beach. Just
Oh,
um and I when I was doing them, I was in my Doctor Who costume, of course. And then I had people come up to me saying, "Are you filming for Doctor Who?" um, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm the next Doctor." At this point, Shooty Galway weren't announced. They just said a new Doctor will be announced. So they know. They
yeah.
let know.
I remember when I went to my mum's wedding. The only suit that I had was my 10th Doctor suit, and a few people recognized me dressed as the Doctor. I Because I'm like, okay, this is the only suit I have that's clean and ironed, and I might as well go with this. So I wore it. And what's funny about it is there was a thing where I have to like hand off to my mum after the vows were done, and we forgot to grab that. Mom told me to like go and grab it. So I walked back into the lot into the reception area because the wedding and the reception area were taking place in the same area. Thank God. So I found it, and so because it was almost time for like the bride to walk in, so I ran, and somebody noticed me, and they came up to me during the reception, like, "Yeah, you run like David's doctor does," and I'm like, "What?" And so he took me outside, and I demonstrated how I was running, and so it was like doing the whole running that he does, like with his like with how his arms are in the
Mm,
face and everything, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I do run like the doctor."
yeah, there's awful a lot of running.
Several kids recognized me dressed as the doctor, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, like last year when I went to an episode location, it was the location of like the end of Journey's End, where the Doctor was saying goodbye to Captain Jack, Mickey, and Sarah Jane. They were all walking down that path, and I was recreating scenes on there. And then I had a bunch of kids come up to me midway through filming, um, and because it was quite good because in the scene it was actually quite busy, and it was in the episode. And then a bunch of them come up saying, "Are you the Doctor? Are you the Doctor? Are you the Doctor?" And then that was funny. It's nice when you get that, you know, when you're filming at places or and stuff that you get people recognize who you are.
Oh yeah, no, it's always an interesting thing to of note to really feel like, yeah, this is an interesting thing to like really do, like getting to dress up as like this character, and despite you not being diagnosed as one thing or that, you can easily identify with this character much more wholeheartedly than you have before.
Yeah, definitely. Because I find like with being autistic, there's so much similarities in certain doctors, um, that can be put upon that. Um, and I think that's why so many people who have autism or do like Doctor Who, because little did I know, load of people who have autism love Doctor Who.
Mhm.
It's like one of those interests that never stop. You're always talking about it. Um, and I think that's great. I think it's a great part of the show that impacting certain people in the world that love it and relate to it in different ways.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's gonna be one of those things where it feels like, yeah, these are characters you can identify with, and that's like the beauty of like watching whatever you're getting into. You will find something you are generally going to be into, and find something that's completely your own little safe space to really, watch what you love and do what you do.
Yeah, it is definitely, and like just wearing clothes like it's like a comfort clothes, like with the Doctor, like like you might not do videos after a little while. You might just do them in a bunch in a go, so you don't have to do them every day. But when you put them on, you just love it and you like seeing it and yeah, and like with the Sonics, it's like a sensory thing. Like playing with it, like it's like the Doctor in his console. Like it's like a toy. It's like a toy where they just pressing random buttons, seeing what it does, and then they've blown it up. But it is quite funny sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, like looking through where as to what the Tardis does and how you manage to fit all of that into something that you're quite genuinely into. And I think that's one of the best things about it. It is so favorable, so sweetening to note that the doctor and several others, have provided such a big comfort
Yeah,
for people.
definitely, definitely. Um, like when I met David Tennant, I said like you probably know what I said, but I literally I say like I've since I was 4, that's when I started watching Doctor Who. Uh, yeah, you've been my hero. Like I'm dressed as Doctor Who clothes, like as you were. Um, and literally, like how much impact they have in your life. Like I don't think they realise it because during his Q&A, he was saying, there was a question that got asked to him saying, "Do you realise how many much people you impacted, like just being in Doctor Who and doing the stuff you do?" And he replies saying, "No, it's crazy, really, because some people are like maybe my age." And that they're grown men, grown people, and they're saying to me that I watched you when I, I watched you in Doctor Who and I think you're awesome yeah, I don't think he realizes it as much because that how much of people he can impact. You know.
Oh yeah, it's a definite-ish thing to like once you really figure it out that this you've made such an impact on people, you have no idea what you do until you really do it. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. And like, it can be so hard. It can be so hard to just pick one doctor that you like more than others. I think it's just dependent like on yourself. Because there's so many doctors that are good. I always respect the Ninth Doctor because he was the one that got me into the show in the first place. That's where it all started. Um, and then they bring in the 10th Doctor, and how good he was. Um, and then it goes on and on and on. Like, yeah, there's some doctors I don't like as much as David Tennant, but there's some doctors I like more than others as well. You know, um, like I think 9, 10, 11 for me at the moment are the best since New Who. They are
Oh yeah,
they're the top three for me at the moment.
yeah. I generally enjoy what we do with these and how the Doctor has impacted so many people. And I think that comes from I think that's stemming from when you're an actor and you step into a role into a fandom that's been loved for this amount of time. You have no idea of like what you're going to be able to do with it until you really get to meet somebody at a convention. Be like, oh, I did this. This was just a and people are like thinking, yeah, this was a like for some actors, it's like I did the show because I loved it. I didn't know that I wouldn't be making my own impact with it as much as you all did.
Yeah,
When they never know what kind of a thing that they're going to do, um, like how much joy that they brought people. Like I think that's like actors, even like Hayden Christensen, have finally gotten their recent, appreciation from people.
yeah,
And I think that's like a huge boon for like actors to like realize that they have this sort of following and they have this sense of like that these people have adored them and they had no idea. And all this is stemming from a show that has been extremely popular, has been repopularized in recent years.
yeah. They are so good. Like I think we sometimes don't even realise that how much Doctor Who means to a lot of people. It's more than a show, really, isn't it? Because
Mhm.
like in our everyday lives, we're still thinking about it all the time. Like it, in my head, I'm always thinking about Doctor Who. Like if I'm going somewhere, I'll be like, I'm going to this place. Is this a good scene to film or something like that? Film a scene. I used to do that in my early days. I would go to just across the road from me. I would run. I'd run down the road. I did a Matt Smith 11th Doctor cosplay, and I was just running in the heat. It was so hot, and then I'm running down with the I Am the Doctor music in the background, just playing. Um, and then it, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I acting animagus inspired me to do one scene with the coat and everything. I threw on all the gear and I had the majestic tail of a madman in a box, and I turned around the corner to have the music playing as I'm like walking down because it's an epic stride. You don't need to like do anything. You just like do a stride walking down the hall and just have like the music playing in the background, and I'm like, oh, that is cool.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to it, you know. I'm looking forward to having the music. I love the music of Doctor Who. I'm looking forward to
the
having
fact that Murray Gold,
yeah.
the fact that Murray Gold's coming back, but we don't know who's going to be scoring the 60th. We don't know if it's going to be him or not.
Yeah, I think it is him. I think he said I think when they announced it they said the 60th and beyond. So he's going to be doing the 60th, and who knows, he might be doing series 14. And then maybe they move on. I don't know. I'll take Murray Cold as long as we can.
But the thing is, I think it would have only. I think Murray would have come back because I remember he had burnout doing Doctor Who after 12. So I'm like, maybe they're just gonna bring him back for just one particular thing, and then they can let him go, and someone else can like score it again.
Yeah, maybe they just might just do it for the 60th because they're bringing. I think the 60th is a good chance to bring back as many people as you want through like the eras, like maybe different eras, and then focus on new stuff, new iconic people that will be remembered for years, like Ruby Sunday, um, like um, like just doing like it all like that because I think like having new people in the show is what it needs. Like I'm all for bringing back old people, but Doctor Who's all about new talent, isn't it? Just having new people. That's what the show is. New people all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like actually a person that was announced the other day, Lenny Rush. He's gonna play a character called Morris in series 14.
Oh
Um
yeah, I heard about that.
yeah, well I'm part of like an organization where I'm an ambassador, and a few weeks ago he was announced as an ambassador. Um
Oh wow.
so I may be working with him at some point. So that is good. Like because he does so much good work, and like I'd love to meet him. Not only just to try and get things from Doctor Who to tell me bits like what you've been doing, which you can't, not allowed, but just chances,
Yeah,
you
of
know.
course.
Just chances for like all about raising awareness. The organisation called Mighty School Council, the Mighty School Council. So all about like raising awareness, like for different things, autism, dyspraxia, ADHD, all different kind of neurodivergent differences. Um, yeah, and he was announced the other day, and I was amazed. I was amazed that that happened. And then I was even more amazed that he got a role on Doctor Who. But yeah, that that's one thing that is good. Um,
Oh, yeah,
but
like
yeah,
totally. That's one of the more interesting things that you could really, go about it.
yeah, because when you get these announcements from people on Doctor Who, you wouldn't think that you're involved will be involved with something that they're in. And the Mighty School Council had loads of ambassadors now. I think nearly over 100. Um, so
Oh God.
So most of them I haven't even probably met. But online meetings is where it all happens normally. Like you have the ambassador meetings and stuff, which is very cool. Um, and if he does come in one, that'd be great. Like a very busy person though, like doing like different acting. I think he did something with Christopher Eccleston, like a play or something as well. Um, so
Hmm.
so it's good. It is good, and people getting involved with different things. And Russell T Davies, I think this new era is going to be about that. You know, this recognition of different things, like maybe autism, maybe other things. You know, and like with like transgender. With you've got that, you've got like I think they've in the new Tardis they've got a wheelchair where people can go in it on the wheelchair.
Oh yeah,
Um, y-
yeah, the new Tardis interior. I'm like,
yeah,
is that going to be it for the 60th, or is that just going to be for Shooty's thing?
I
That's the
think
thing. Are they going to be using that? Because they already tore because by the time David Tennant was already on, they've already torn down Jodie's set. So what are they going to use for the interior?
I don't know. You know,
Because I don't know if they're going to bring back David's old console room. I don't know if they're going to like take it out of the museum and then put it back in for like just for all three things.
um, I think there'll be a lot of flashbacks. You know, to series 4 because I think that's where all the magic has happened from. And I would love like to 14th Doctor to get his new old TARDIS. I'd love the 10th Doctor. I love the 10th Doctor TARDIS. Um, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Like with the TARDIS. With Shooty's TARDIS, I would absolutely love it if it was purple. I think it's going to be colourful.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Because we got to see like leaked photos of what
Yeah.
it is, leaked videos and photos of what it's going to be for like that Tardis. Because that Tardis is, I think they said that that is Shooties. That is going
Mm.
to be Shooties with the white roundels and the jukebox and everything.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to be using because that's the interior? And I thought, are they going to be using this for David or what are they going to do? Because every
Yeah.
time you look at the trailers, every time the doors swing out and he walks out, there's just a screen of nothing, a screen of black behind there. So I'm like, what's it look like on the inside now that we have
They're
David
hiding
there?
it.
Because
But,
Jody's set is already torn down.
yeah. Like, it's going to be interesting, from where the 60th starts out, because the Doctor is walked out the TARDIS, of course, regenerated. Is the TARDIS going to fall or something like that, or is David actually going to get a chance to go in the TARDIS with Jodie's interior? That's going to be interesting if he actually has any scenes with that interior.
Yeah, because you gotta have like scenes where they go on in and because always you have to say it's bigger on the inside. That's always the big gag. And they had to bring
Yeah,
it in. They had to like the new people getting to like see the interior for the first time.
yeah. It is it's what every Doctor's done. Like you've looked at the old interior first, and then you've got your own after the TARDIS regenerates as well. But yeah, I'm very interested. Like, I would like it to be different. I would like the 40th Doctor TARDIS to be different. Um, I would really. But who knows? We'll have to see. Like, I think the round things, definitely see the round things in the 60th. But I don't think
What
shooty.
are the round things?
Yeah, what are the round things?
I
Um,
have no idea.
yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what they are. Um, yeah. But I do like the round things. But like, I do like them. They are nice. But I wonder why they're white? I don't know. Is it because obviously because of the first Doctor? But who knows? Um, I don't think like shooting might have round things, but maybe not white. But maybe there might be round things in there, but just different colours. Maybe be interesting. Yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Devin, before we finish, is like
Oh yeah.
what is your do you have a favourite quote or a line that you relate to in Doctor Who?
One of my favorites. One of my favorite. The big speech from Voyage of the Damned that he gives off. It's the interaction. It's always going to be forever that interaction between not the one, not no, not the one where they're comparing the sonic screwdrivers. No, not that scene. It's the scene where they're in the dungeon. They're all talking, and it's after 11 scratches the coordinates and he finishes, and and the doctor's like, you forgot. 400 years is not all it takes. And that arguing scene always drives the point home because that's like it gave me an example of like what it's
Mm,
like in the doctor's head all the time. He's constantly bickering with himself in his own guilt, and it's like the current him is trying to like forget everything, and the tenth Doctor is like, yeah, there's no way you're forgetting all that trauma. There is no way you're acting this damn happy
yeah,
to have just forgotten everything.
yeah. I like that one too. I like the way that they're just bickering with each other, and then you've got the John Hurt Doctor, War Doctor saying, "I don't know who either of you are. No idea."
Yeah, and
Um,
that's the funny thing of it. It's like you because that's like a peek into like into his head, really, like what went on with him at the time. Because he's still like trying to figure out like he's still trying to like get over the pain of everything that he's happened.
yeah,
And the funny thing is, it's like you look at that scene and it's like this is it gave me a visual clue as to what goes on in his head because of all that guilt he deals with, and he hears this in his own head all the time. So now to really see it in the Day of the Doctor, and to really see that just come through what goes on in his head and really visualize the pain that he had to deal with on that day, and now that it's come back to haunt him, does he like he as the 10th Doctor points out, 11 has been running from the problem. He's been running from trying to forget everything, and the 10th Doctor was trying to atone for everything, at least for a time. And
Yeah,
then it wasn't until 12 really rectified that mistake that, that and I think that's one of the more powerful scenes in that special.
yeah. I like that scene. That definitely the one in the dungeons. Um, like where it was filmed, I actually went, but I didn't go to that bit. I went into the dungeons. I was just above it, the dungeons of the Zygon, where the Zygon lab was in the 60th, in the 50th. Sorry. Um, yeah. Look, who knows? I might get Zygons in the 60th. I doubt it, but I have missed them. I haven't seen Zygons for a little while. Um,
Yeah, I'm glad to get back to that one.
yeah. But yeah, definitely that was very like it is relatable, like forgetting stuff. Um, but a lot of things moved on. But the annoying thing is none of them remember it. So the 40th Doctor, all that's gone. Like it's like it don't
No,
matter
no, no, no.
anymore.
Only, no, no, no. From what I know is that the War Doctor and the 10th Doctor, they they don't get to remember it. 11 does because he's the present one that got to remember it all. 12 does as what 12 does as well because
Oh
they're the present
yeah,
ones that remember that.
yeah. So yeah,
Because
it
remember
covers.
11 said because remember 11 says I remember this sort of.
Yeah, it's happened. So him as the 10th Doctor has already done this. Um, yeah, that is why he said that. But yeah, that is very
Yeah,
interesting.
and then now yeah, because of now that and 12 got all of his not only did he get all of his like memories with Clara back, because part of those memories is from the day of the Doctor, so he by that extension of the glass avatars giving him that memory, he remembers fully the day of the Doctor thing,
Yeah,
because he was with Clara as 10 and 11 and the War Doctor, so he remembers each point of view from that day being with her every
yeah,
time.
definitely. Yeah, I think that was funny when the door went locked though, wasn't it? The door, yeah. Don't they need to make the sonic screwdriver do wood? I think because it can't. It's not doing wood.
Well, yeah, because that calculation was still running and 11's completed it. We never got to see that pay off. We never got to see that pay off yet. They need
Yeah.
to pay that off at some point.
It would have been nice. It would have been nice if they'd done that and they all opened the door. They would have been so happy. um,
I it's I think it's really that big payoff at the end where not and it was so jarring like at the first viewing because I got to watch it at Thanksgiving to see the like what when all the doctors come and save Gallifrey together to hear like throughout that episode or at least like during the where they come in and then like into the archive to
yeah,
hear David Tennant with the majestic tale of a madman in a box playing behind him was so interesting. I was so used to hearing all the strange creatures playing as his theme, but to hear that and like with him and all the other doctors in the majestic tale of a madman in a box, and that really exemplified that the theme, the majestic tale, is the Doctor's full theme song. Like that's his full thing like
yeah,
for each incarnation. You could take that theme and put it into like different Doctor's era, and it'll.
yeah, definitely. Like, I love that theme. It's one of my favorite 11th Doctor's themes, and it worked so well with those three Doctors in slow motion going through this horror moor, and then they're just, and then
And then.
yeah, yeah. And then I love the scene when 11th Doctor said, "Kate Lethbridge Stewart, what in the name of sanity? What's going on here? Or what are you doing?"
Yeah,
But Yeah, I love that.
Oh yeah, I think that's one of the funniest. That's one of the more interesting things to do. But not only at the same time, like to see like how these different versions of the same person can really interact as actors, and that's one of the more brilliant things that I think I loved about when they did uh the power of, and I realized why they couldn't really do like a full-on multi-doctor storyline, like bring each one from each timeline in, because COVID was still a thing, and they had to get work around those regulations. So now that at least for like the whole entire for the entire world, for the briefest moment, I'm still waiting for the other shoe to drop,
Mm.
is like how they managed to work around that and still manage to get people in despite those restrictions. And well, they're obviously there are safety regulations for a reason, but to do all that and still be able to make like such an incredible story, which makes me wonder, are we going to have multiple doctors come in somehow for the 60th, like for all three specials?
Yeah, I think there will be a point because like right at the end of the 50th, you had like all the doctors next to each other, didn't you? But
Mhm.
the sad thing about that was that like you only had David Tennant walking in, Matt Smith walking in, and then I think you had John Hurt there as well. But what would make really right at the end of the 60th, what would be really good is like all the live doctors that are alive that want to be in it and that can film do that. They all walk in one out at a time. Like you got all of them, and even you can even include the future Doctor as well. In that. But I don't know. Like, I did like her. But yeah, it would be really nice.
Yeah,
And
it would be.
yeah,
God, this is fun, getting to
yeah,
do this.
yeah, very fun, very fun. And just one last thing, before we finish, um, but one thing out of the 60th, which would be, which would be really fun, is the intros. Like we know we've got the Tenny Doctor. We see the styles in the teasers titles. What do we get? I don't think we just get them as the intros. I think they'll mix it up with like the 60th main theme. Um,
Yeah, because
as well.
we're gonna get something of the fact of you know, something of a new version of the 2008 theme.
Yeah, we'll get that, and then it will like change maybe to the 11th Doctor theme, maybe change to the 13th Doctor theme. Like, I think it'd be nice, nice changing theme, a longer theme that we're used to as well. Um, I think. But yeah, thanks, Devin. It's been great having you on.
Ah,
Yeah. To anyone who's listening and watching, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Doctor Who and Autism celebrations. And Devin will return a bit later on, in time for November for the group episodes. Which it's gonna be really fun. Like different people connecting to each other, about Doctor Who and autism, all in time for the big day on the 23rd of November. So yeah, thank you,
what?
Devin. Yeah. Yeah, what?
What?
Well, thank you,
Ah, crap,
Devin.
I heard that.
At last we've done this and you come on the podcast. Um,
Oh yeah, it'll be fun in November.
yeah, definitely will. Even more fun because it'll be closer. Um, but
All right.
but thank you, Devin. I hope you have a nice rest of your day and it's been awesome.
Yeah, just about. Yeah,